Hi, hello, and welcome back to another episode of my podcast. Now, what was I talking about? My name is V Noir, and this week I'm talking about the film from 1996, Bound, by the Wachowski sisters, because they're sisters now. And, I had seen clips of this movie, and in general, I was just very interested in looking at their work pre them releasing the movie The Matrix and lesbianism, like love some sapphic shit. And this is still like sort of not dark, but like it is filmed very like moody and stuff, and there's a lot of black and everything, and I'm like, ooh, it has such a vibe. And there is a lot of interesting camera work, so that's kind of fun too to think about. Like, oh, okay, so they were also sort of experimenting with camera work even prior to The Matrix, um, which is very fun. Love that. Yeah, I'm like, it's a few years before The Matrix, and uh, yeah, okay, yeah. So that's what I thought. Like looking at it, like the success of this movie gave way for them to be trusted to make a movie like The Matrix, which is really cool. So it's like, okay, so what did the Warner Brother producers or uh studio heads uh see in that to then trust, these two people to make The Matrix. And of course, The Matrix is inspired by like things like Ghost in the Shell and other anime things, but um, which is always interesting because I'm like, okay, so you definitely had your influences and whatnot. Um, and I always enjoy learning that kind of stuff too. But it's also like they still made their own original thing versus I'm like, I don't want to get too much into it with Satoshi Kon, Satoshi Kon, and how like things like his movie Perfect Blue, his animated movie Perfect Blue and Paprika, those have been like taken frame for frame, even with stuff like in movies like Inception and by Christopher Nolan and Black Swan as well, taking from it, and even that director specifically being like, "Yeah, I was inspired by this guy." And sadly, Satoshi also like that is his name, right? Sadly, Satoshi, passed away, and he wasn't really, um, as um, he didn't make that much money. Honestly speaking, he didn't make that much money off of his work, and versus someone who was inspired by his stuff, and then goes on to win awards and makes way more money than him. And I remember seeing an interview where he was kind of upset about that as well, just like, haha, I'm writing in god, what's it called, just like the regular uh wow, I can't talk today. Like, I'm trying to record this preemptively and I can't even talk right now. He's riding in regular and somebody else is flying first class, economy. He's riding economy, and, a person who's taken inspiration from him is riding first class. Like, that was kind of the level of, you know, like what he was dealing with. And so And I need to do this before I start recording. But yeah, I'm like, that really sucks. And then I believe he passed away from cancer as well. Let's see. I'm on yeah, he died of cancer in 2010. Oh, yeah. I need to watch more of his films, but Paranoia Agent is the thing. The show is the thing that got me into him, and I thought that was like really interesting, and I liked his style. I've seen Tokyo Godfathers. I think it's free on YouTube as well. That's how I watched it. And then some of my more art house theaters play like things like Perfect Blue and stuff periodically, so I need to catch that in theaters at some point. But anyway, yeah, to get into Bound and the synopsis. So, um tough ex-con Corky and her lover, Violet, concoct a scheme to steal millions of stash mob money and pin the blame on Violet's cricket boyfriend, Caesar. And so it's saying that, but they're not lovers right away. Literally, Corky gets out of jail and then gets this like sort of job to fix up an apartment. So she's like a plumber. She's you know dealing with all of the maintenance that goes into redoing an apartment after somebody's like moved away. And so she's coming up to the apartment, and then she meets Violet, who's played by Jennifer Tilly. Corky is played by Gina Garson. And Caesar is played by Joe Pantalonio. 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 Recognize him, but I can't. I'm like, I know I've seen that man in things, but I can't remember. Of course, he was in The Matrix too. I'm like, of course he was. Oh my god, he was the fucking Cypher, the guy that, I mean, spoilers, I guess. The guy that betrayed Neo and the gang in the end. It's kind of funny to think about, when directors are like, "Yeah, I know this actor. Let's get you back into something." Oh my god, my arms. I'm continuing to live record my podcast, and I'm wearing like a tank top, and I just saw my arms moving. I'm like, oh yeah, look at that muscle. um, and then if you are watching it, that's my other cat right here on the bed. That's his tail. He's very adorable. He's asleep. I'm like, what else have I seen him in? He's been in a lot of stuff, and I don't recognize a lot of this. So we're just gonna say The Matrix. The Matrix. And then Jennifer Tilly is someone who I've had like a childhood crush on, but it was one of those things where I feel like I've talked about this is like I've had an attraction to women, but I didn't recognize it as an attraction. It was just like that person is really beautiful. I just want to stare at them, and I wouldn't go past that in any way for me. So that was how it was with for me and Jennifer Tilly. And I saw she was in Liar Liar. She was in some of the Chucky movies, at that time, like the 90s. And they currently I think it got canceled actually, but there was a Chucky television series that also involved the original creator of Chucky, and he kind of wanted to expand Chucky a bit, which is fun. I didn't actually watch it because I'm really like when the doll looks a little weird to me. I can't suspend my disbelief because I'm like, isn't the whole point of all of this is that like it's a doll that looks cute and then becomes creepy over time, and because it's possessed. But I don't know, I might still check it out. I mean, it sucks that it got canceled. Um, oh, and then I was gonna say with Gina Garson, she was in Showgirls, which came out a year before this movie. So it's like in Showgirls, she's like this high femme, really talented dancer who people are coming to see her perform. And then she goes from that, and then a year later, she's playing this more butch woman. And I'm like, wow, the duality of this actress. It's really cool, really fun. And she looks gorgeous in Showgirls. She is really attractive in Bound too. And yeah, I'm like, you can definitely see her range. I mean, Showgirls is a completely different movie, and I've already talked about it before, but I was like, I know I recognize her, and I wanted to look into her more. A kind of funny coincidence is the actor Christopher Maloney is in this. And he's playing kind of a dumbass. And he is in Law and Order. He's like the Law and Order guy, which is pretty funny. And my roommate didn't recognize him. And I was like, no, I feel like he is definitely somebody familiar. I mean, he looks different now, and he's much younger in the movie, in Bound, of course. But I was like, no, that's definitely him. Yeah, Law and Order SVU. He's that main guy, Law and Order SVU. I mean, he's done other stuff, but I'm like, it's always funny to see him not be that character because it's like, oh yeah, you do act not this. And yeah, so to get back into the plot, so Corky has his new job. She sees Jennifer Tilly's character, Violet, with her boyfriend Caesar on the elevator, and Violet is obviously like flirting, even though she has a man. And so then what ends up happening is like they the Wachowski sisters are like, we're gonna get right into it and have them, establish this relationship. And Violet talks about like how she's with men, but she's really a lesbian, and she doesn't, she's doing it out of like kind of survival and everything like that. And she's like, no, I actually just I want you. And then ha- they end up fucking essentially, and it's like within 20 minutes of the movie. And the movie's like, how long is this movie? An hour and 50 minutes. So within 20 minutes, we have them, getting together. And it's kind of funny because there's this scene where Jennifer Tilly where Violet is like trying to get Corky to finger her, and she moves her like fingers down. But there's like this kind of mistaken editing where it's like, oh, if they started a little higher up, you wouldn't notice this. But they start so low that you can tell that Corky's hands aren't actually under her dress. And it's just like, oh, ooh, I'm surprised nobody caught that. But it that feels like a not an Easter egg, but it's just like, oh, if you are looking, you'll see this within the first 20 minutes. And so, like I kind of said in the synopsis, Violet is with Caesar, who is a part of the mob. He just calls what he does like just being a part of the business, but he's definitely, he's working with dangerous people. And Corky is someone who I'm like, that's such a non-binary name. I'm like, oh my God. It's so, and it's just like, but anyway, I was just like, oh, this is love it. But Corky, she went to jail because had she's kind of a Robin Hood sort of thing. She redistributes wealth, and she was really good at it, and the only reason she got caught was because the person she trusted um basically turned her in and everything like that. I think she was in jail for like 5 years because of this. Um but yeah, so in the very beginning they're like flirty and everything like that. And their relationship is just like pre-established. Um and then so the rest of the movie, especially when they get into trying to steal this money from Caesar, is like, okay, so can these two women trust each other? And is what they have real or not? And can Corky trust Violet? to not, rat her out? Can Violet trust Corky to not run away with the money? And they just had to have faith and trust in each other, even though they hadn't been together for that long. And again, we have like that establishment of them getting together in a sexual sense. In the very beginning, they almost get caught in Violet's apartment by Caesar in the very beginning. And then, Caesar's just like, oh, you're a woman. It's really dark in here, you guys. You ladies, like, what's going on? Like, never suspecting that Violet is, like, wanting to fuck this woman is really funny. And, yeah, so let's see. So, what happens is a character by the name of Shelley comes over. Violet, I, ends up fucking him, I guess. It doesn't really last that long. But what ends up happening is that the Shelley guy was skimming money from the mob, and it ended up being about like $2 million worth of money. So Caesar and Johnny, who was the Law and Order actor, they're like tasked with beating him up to get this money out of him. And I'm like, why are they beating him up at Caesar's apartment? But it kind of feels like this apartment complex is kind of they at least the owner knows that some of the residents are like related to the mob, but not everyone is aware because I guess, it's like an actual residential place, like normal people live there. And I'm gonna explain, oh, and I'll say only because of the fact that a neighbor calls the cops at some point in the movie later on. But yeah, it's just like, wait, what was I saying? Oh, so Shelly is getting tortured, and I'm just like, damn, why are they doing that in his apartment? They cut off a finger. There is levels of violence in this. Was it a finger? Was it a toe? Was it a finger? I think it was a finger. It was a finger. Um, and they drag him out and they beat him up. Caesar comes back with a lot of money and it's all bloody and stuff. And it ends up happening where, they're torturing Shelley. He finally tells them where the money is, and then Johnny shoots him in the back of the head, and then because of that, all this blood goes everywhere. And then Caesar punches Johnny because he doesn't like Johnny at all, even though Johnny um is kind of in a higher level than him. But I'm like, I guess he's able to punch him either way. But um Johnny is the son of the big mob boss. What is it? Gino Marzoni. Um, so I feel like he is able to be an idiot and get away with stuff because he is the mob boss's son, but it's still just like, ugh, you're so dumb and violent. You're not going to take over the family business. But either way, so they concoct a plan while Caesar, I'm like, he's moving. My boy is moving. So they concoct a plan where, oh, like while Caesar's gone, Violet and Corky, are hanging out. They probably fucking or whatever. We don't see anything else really except for that first part of the movie. But we can tell they are a bit more intimate with each other than before. And so I'm like, what happened? So yeah, they concoct a plan. Corky tells her to have newspapers by to fill the case because she's gonna, take the money. They also set it up so that Violet leaves the apartment so that Caesar doesn't suspect that she had anything to do with the money going missing. And so, yeah. So Violet leaves. She breaks this wine glass that was like specifically wine for this mob boss. that he really loved. So she was like, I have to run off and get it. There's not, and Zizi's just like, there's not enough time. And he's like, don't worry, we got plenty of time, you guys. Cause they were really, this is crazy. So he had all the bloody money and they wanted him to have it ready to go by the following night. And it's just like, damn. So he had to clean all this money, count all this money, re uh rubber banded and everything like that, and then, you know, dried and everything by the following night. And so all of the hundreds and shit were like hanging up and stuff, and Violet was like describing this to Corky, and she's just like so amazed because it's just like all hundreds, and I'm like, oh damn, money still looks so different. Because all these $100 bills are so not, they're the old kind, not the like slightly more colorful kind. But I mean, you can see these floating around still, but they're still in circulation. But they now, because money is a little bit more colorful, they could probably be seen as fake, but they still pass the counterfeit tests and whatnot. But yeah, so the plan, and they're executing it, is Violet leaves to get the wine after she breaks the wine and calms Caesar down, gets him to, get ready while she's gone. Corky sneaks into the apartment. She it was really cool because she has all these piercings and stuff, and all of her tools can fit on her ears as like earrings and stuff. So it looks like kind of cool hanging earrings, but they're really pickpocketing tools. And she, gets into the apartment slowly. She has her gun on her just in case Caesar, shows up and everything like that. So she gets to where the case is because she has a layout of the apartment, so she knows where things are and stuff. And she's able to unlock the case. It gets a little stressful because Caesar's around. She's got her gun out, but he is none the wiser, and she's able to sneak all the money out. And so by the time she leaves with the money, she just brings it to the apartment over. That's the apartment she's been fixing up this whole time. Violet comes back, and she's just like, "Oh no, did I miss them?" And Caesar's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And she's like, "I just saw Johnny. He was in a rush or whatever." And this, so basically, the plan is to get Caesar to think that Johnny just snuck in, stole the money, and, tried to cheat him basically, and have him take the fall for this money not being here. So, and then they assume that Caesar will run away because, it's like, oh no, $2 million are gone now. And Johnny's the one that did it. He to fuck me. And and Caesar doesn't run away. He doesn't leave. He's just like, he's really fucking pissed. He's like crashing the fuck out. He's like, Johnny fucked me. I hate that man. I'm going to kill him. And I was like, shit, they really underestimated Caesar's behavior. Like they really weren't sure how he would. They assumed he would react one way, and he ended up doing like completely the opposite. And so Violet, being scared, I mean legitimately scared, but also kind of like playing it up a little bit, is just like, I can't deal with you. I don't want to deal with this. I have been wanting to leave the mob and the business or whatever. This is the final straw for her. And Caesar doesn't let her leave, which is so fucked. Because he thinks in his mind that Johnny and her are in it together. So now he's like, you can't leave because I need you to prove that you didn't just work with him to fuck me over. Which is so fucked. So now, what's to call it? Violet is stuck in Caesar's apartment. Corky is stuck in the other apartment because they were just going to plan to leave with the money. Corky, basically, she, um, she filled these paint buckets with the money. She put the money in plastic bags and then put those bags in the paint buckets so she could just like sneak out with these paint buckets. Very unassuming, like a really good plan. And now, Violet's fucked. And again, this is what I was talking about with like, okay, these people have to trust each other. Even though we've not really seen them with each other for that long, but there's a level of trust that has to be here because Corky could have easily just left Violet there and left with the money. But she decided not to do that. And so we get to a point where, the mob boss shows up, Johnny shows up, another guy shows up, and Caesar's just like, he's trying to confront Johnny like low key. Just like, just open the case like you did before. And Johnny's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, what are you saying to me right now? And so Caesar gives him the key, and Johnny opens the case, and it's just the newspapers that Corky put in there. And Caesar pulls out his gun, and he's like, why'd you fuck me over, Johnny? Why'd you do this? And Johnny's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. The other two dudes are like, hey, calm down. Violet's behind the bar, so she's like kind of away. And then Caesar shoots Johnny in the leg. And then he's like, next time I'm going to shoot your dick off. And then the mob boss, Gino Marzoni, gets up and he's like, hey, put the gun down. But in Italian, because he's above speaking English, so he only speaks Italian. Which I think is kind of funny. I'm like, yeah, fuck English, man. If I could speak any other language, I would be speaking another language. But I digress. It is the language that I know, so I will continue to speak it. But I don't know, I'm just like reminded of colonization and everything that comes with knowing English as a language, and it's just like, ugh. But that's like one of those thoughts in the back of all the way in the back of my mind that I'm like, let's not think about it. It's like, oh, I probably had a language that I could have been, that like, my ancestors passed down and everything, but because of, yeah, see, it's like, that's what I mean. I'm like, my there. It's like a thought within a thought that keeps going and it goes back, and then I could get angry about it, and it's like, I don't know. To be black in this country and woke in this country is to be enraged all the time, and it's like I can't be angry all the time. You know that doesn't do anything, but it is good to not repress your emotions because there's plenty of studies that talk about how um like immuno diseases and whatnot can come from a repression of emotions, especially with black women specifically. And it's like, damn. So I really do have to make sure that I am expressing myself, I'm feeling my emotions. And it's one thing. I'm like, to say I'm not heard and I have a podcast where I'm talking, but it's like, I mean, I have dealt with that of just like, I'm literally telling you something and you are not taking it in, and that's like more of a person to person uh situation rather than like what this is, which is like whoever's listening to this is actively wanting to hear what I'm saying, you know? But anyway, I do have to figure out, because I do to kind of go more into like the Patreon. I know I just like I was at like kind of the climax. We're getting to the climax of the movie, but I'll come right back. I'll come right back. I swear. But to kind of get into that more too, it's like I want to do one free like Patreon post, like that's either video or audio. And then the first paid option, the $3 option, will have a video vlog situation. And then the third pay option, which is the $5 one, will also have its own video vlog thing. So that'll be like 3 videos a month potentially, plus the this recording of the pod. So that's four. There's 3 plus 4. So that would be like 7 videos essentially, assuming that I'm able to continue to post episode once a week. Um, but I think, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I wanted to, even though I said I would like do this video for free until my RSS feed was up, because I'm trying to be consistent with posting the free content, I'm like, or the other content before my RSS feed is up. This is going to one of the paid options, the $3 paid option, I think. So, and you'll have access to it as the $5 option. But either way, yeah, getting back into it. That's what I was trying to say. I'm trying to figure out what the free video will be. It might be something where it's like motivational, or me just talking. Maybe I'm doing like poetry. Maybe I'm doing more of the music things that I've been doing, and so I'm just like playing around for like 20 minutes or something. Not entirely sure. Maybe it'd be like ambient sound stuff that I've been working on. Um oh, but that'll be kind of fun. I'm just trying to think on it before like the week is up, because I'm like, okay. Let's figure it out at least before the new month. But anyway, so Caesar has the gun still. He just shot Johnny in the thigh. Gino Marzoni gets up. He's talking to him in Italian. He's like, "Hey, put the gun down, whatever." And I was like, "Damn, it would be kind of sick if this guy was just like so cool that he could get him to give him the gun without actually like doing anything, because he's just like, his aura is just so intimidating, you know? Because I was like kind of convinced when I initially saw it that he was just gonna get the gun from him, because he was like slowly talking, and Caesar like closes his eyes, but then he shoots him in the lungs. And it's just like, oh shit. And then the bodyguard that was there tries to shoot at Caesar, misses, gets the frame right next to him. And then Caesar is able to shoot that bodyguard like twice, and then he lets off the rest of his the bullets into Johnny. And then Johnny collapses after saying don't shoot, after getting shot like 5 times. And, Violet is there still, freaking out, and Corky can hear all of this. And so, he just said that he's just like, okay, we have to get the money, because if I'm able to hide the bodies and I get the money back, the best solution would be that they just never showed up, but I have the money, so they just never showed up. And now, he's got this level of confidence, because he's like, I just killed Gino Marzani, this big mobster. So he's like, nothing can get me now. And then all of a sudden they hear sirens, and he's just like, "Ugh, it's just cops. Whatever." And I'm like, this guy has a lot of stamina, first of all. He's like really strong. He moves all 3 of the bodies to the bathtub. Thankfully, it's one of those really big bathtubs with like the claw paws at the uh on the feet, as the feet. I love those bathtubs. They always look so pretty. And unlike because of like how society is set up now, it's like that sort of interesting like bathroom things don't really exist in like apartment complexes and stuff at least. Like you'd have to be in a house and want that essentially, or you'd be in a like a really old apartment complex. Um like what's my cat doing? He's just sleeping. Um but so he moves all the bodies, he rearranges the furniture, he puts a carpet down where one of the blood had like pooled, and the cops are coming up. He tells Violet to stall them. Don't do anything funny or anything like that. He's threatening her life because he's like, I just killed, Gino Marzani. I can, I'm badass, really. And, she stalls him and she's just like, Cops, are you guys really the cops? Like, how am I gonna know? Like, what are you talking about? Like, all this stuff. It's really funny, her delivery here. But she does a good job and stalls him a bit. They make their way up. This is like one of those really intense moments. And even before that, there's like some fun camera work here when Caesar is like crashing out about the money being missing. There's like this shot of like the camera is like on him and it's moving, and I mean it's not a dolly. I'm like kind of not a steady cam, kind of a steady cam situation, but it's fun. It's fun. And ooh, even when he like shoots Gino Marzoni, there's like it's a shot where the body is falling in slow motion and the camera follows him as this happens, and it's like, oh, that's cool. And yeah, the cops show up and I'm like, fuck. Violet, how are you gonna get out of this? And Corky's still in the next room, in the next apartment over. And I'm like, what happens? Cops show up. They're like, oh, before the cops show up to the apartment, Caesar turns the TV on and all the way up, and he has a bloody shirt from moving all these bodies. He takes that off. He wipes himself down, and Violet opens the door, and he's yelling, and he's acting like he has a bad like ear, and the cops are just like, oh, we know what happened. The neighbors probably heard the TV. They thought there was real gunshots. And then one of the cops is like, can I use your bathroom? And I was just like, ah. And it was right after Caesar offered them like alcohol, and the other cop was like, no, not on the job, not on the shift. And then yeah, so the cop is pissing. He's pissing up a storm. Actually, I was like, damn, how much piss did you have? And then while that's happening, they kind of pan down a little bit, and we see like blood driplets coming from one of the bodies, and it's just like, he could see it. And the other cop is walking around, and he gets to the rug, and he steps in a pool of blood, and it's just like, how do you step in that and not feel anything? Um, but the cops leave. They don't, catch wind of anything. They leave. They're incompetent. I was just like, oh damn, this is like a commentary on the incompetency of the police force in Chicago. Is how I was kind of taking it. I was like, damn, that fucking sucks. Because it takes place in Chicago, and so I'm trying to figure out. After that happens, they go to Johnny's apartment. I think that's what happens. They go to Johnny's apartment. He's still looking for the money. He trashes Johnny's apartment and trying to find the money, and he just can't seem to find it. He also brought Violet with him because he's like, I don't trust you. Something's going on. And from there, from Johnny's apartment, he calls his boss, Mickey, and tells Mickey like, "Hey, the guys didn't show up. I have the money. The money's good. I don't know what's going on." And so Mickey decides to come over And it's just like, oh, fuck. So now you're dealing with more mobsters, but you're also trying to prove your innocence and set up that sort of ploy of like, I have the money, but the men never showed up. What happened to them? And so they get back to the apartment, and uh, Violet is talking to Corky through the phone, and then Johnny shows up. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Johnny is dead. Caesar shows up, and he's like, who the fuck were you just talking to on the phone? Was it Mickey? And then he does a redial. I thought he was going to do a star 69, but this phone specifically has a redial button. And he redials it. The phone rings. Corky picks it up but doesn't say anything. And then she hangs up right away. And then he calls that number again. And Corky is backing away. But I was like, fuck, you shouldn't have did that. Now he can hear that the phone is ringing in the next room. And now he's like, who the fuck is over there? Bring them over here. And gosh, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, Corky tries to sneak in, but she gets caught. Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is. He tries to get Violet to convince the person in the next apartment to come over, and then he's like sort of he like hits her in the head. He's getting violent with her. Corky, can't deal with that, so she has her gun, sneaks into the apartment, but then Caesar fucking sneaks up on her from behind, and he tells her to turn around. And he's like, this fucking, well, he doesn't say this fucking bitch, but he's just like, you again. He's surprised because again he's like, not a man. That's crazy. I can't believe it. And he also like beats up Corky too and ties her up. And then Violet is also tied up, and I'm like, this is called bound, and this is the only boundness that happens. And especially coming from talking about Secretary. And I know I was gonna maybe talk about 50 Shades of Grey, but I'm like, I don't want to talk about things I don't like, really. Like honestly, and like it feels like a waste of time. Mm. But I feel like I might maybe talk about I don't know. I'm not really about like shitting on things. Like I might one movie I might shit on, and it's not even about the movie, it's about the story itself. Is Eyes Wide Shut. Like I feel like I brought up how much I didn't like that movie, but I also didn't watch the whole thing. But I'm gonna revisit it. It's just so fucking long. It's like 2 hours long. But I'm like, the plot of that movie kills me. But it is also based on a story from like the 1800s or some shit. Let me see. Eyes Wide Shut. I'm like, for this to be his last movie, adapted from Dream Story, which is okay, 1926, not the 1800s, 1926, but still. Honestly, I might just read the book and I'll finish the movie. Like it'll be the one time that I'm like deeply invested on why I hate this so much. Because at least for me, I'm like, I don't want to blindly hate something. I want to research it. I want to give it a chance. I want to examine why I don't like this. And it's just like the plot of this all is like, you're a fucking man who's crashing out because your wife told you that she has thought about another man. I'm like, okay, you fucking fantasize and do shit with women too. Like, how is that any different? You're so shocked that your wife could have any sort of thoughts about anyone else but you, especially if you're not giving her that much attention. But I digress. Let's go back. So Corky's tied up, Violet's tied up. He's just like, that's not my Violet. What did you do to her? She's acting so different. And Violet's just like, she's done everything you couldn't, first of all. Secondly, you don't know me that well. And then Caesar's just like, upset because he's like, I gave you this life. I gave you this apartment. You were nothing before me. How could you do this to me? And she's just like, fuck you. Literally, like, she's like, I don't care. And he's like beating up Corky again. Cause I'm like, yeah, the brutalization of Mask of Sinner women, it's just like so fucked up. But he's just like, oh, I knew I couldn't trust your kind. And calls her slurs and shit. I'm like, oh god, fucked up. But he decides to um fuck with Corky and try to cut off Violet's fingers because he's like, I got 10. I'm gonna ask you 10 questions. I have 10 fingers. So if you don't give me the answer I want, I will cut off a finger. And I think that's. I'm like, I know I'm kind of mixing up the plot a little bit. I think. And like, I had to go on a tangent about fucking Eyes Wide Shut yet again. I'm gonna visit that movie. I'm gonna revisit that movie. I'm like, it's just 2 hours long. Let me just double check the plot. Okay, that's what I thought. I was just like, how did they? Oh, 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 oh. I remember. So I was just like, how do we get to this point? But he he is about to cut off a finger if Corky doesn't answer him. She tells him where the money is, but he's like, you can't kill me because you don't know if that was a lie or not. So you have to give it a second. And then but the bell rings. Mickey is there. He hides Corky. He tells Violet, hey, work with me here, you know, um, try to plan. They wanted to plan, you know, her coming out and everything or whatever, just to make it seem like everything normal. I was like, please don't go to the bathroom again. But let's see. Violet Mickey is about to open the case. That's empty, of course. After Mickey has expressed, like, I don't know what happened. We went to Johnny's apartment first. It was ransacked. We don't know what's going on. Violet calls the phone, the home phone, and Caesar answers it because Mickey's like, aren't you going to answer that? And he answered it, and it's just Violet, and she's like, we're going to cut a deal. I'm saving your ass right now. Tell them I'm Johnny, like Johnny, or no, it's probably Johnny. Tell them I'm Johnny. We got in a car accident. We're at such and such hospital. And we take half, we leave, whatever, that's it. And so Caesar says all these things to, save his ass essentially. Mickey doesn't open the briefcase and they leave to go to the hospital. And it's fucked up because Violet comes out. She does have a bruise on her forehead from Caesar hitting her in the head with a gun. And she moves her hair in the way of it. And I was like, okay, that was attention to detail here. Love that, you guys. And she she ends up getting stuck with Caesar, who has his gun, even though he's wearing a towel, but he's not wearing a towel for real. Because he was trying to act like he just got out of the shower. And so he has the gun pointed at her, which is fucked. And Mickey leaves, and just like, I hate that. Mickey leaves for the hospital, and Oh, there we go. So I'm trying to remember. Oh, Caesar is able to see the money in the God, I'm trying to remember. Why am I'm like I want to detail this as specific as possible, but for some reason I'm like not remembering. I guess. So, I'm just trying to remember how Corky escapes. But essentially Caesar sees the money, then the money is like missing, and Corky was able to like sort of hide it and try to sneak on him up on him and like shoot him, I think. But then Caesar is able to they get into like a fight essentially, and Violet shows up with Corky's gun. And Caesar's like, "You're not gonna shoot me. You would have shot me when I was turned up with this money. Like you don't have it in you to do that." And, he's walking towards Violet, and Violet's like, "You don't know me." And then she shoots the fuck out of this man. It was very satisfying because he's a bitch and he like, he beat up her girlfriend. Like, fuck you. And he killed all these people. Like, fuck you. But right before that, Violet is able to call Mickey and be like, "I couldn't stop him. He told me to lie. He left with the money to set up that plan." So now, um, it's not really alluded to what exactly happens, but it's like the next morning, assuming at least, and Violet and Mickey are talking, and Mickey's like, "Are you sure you won't change your mind about leaving?" And she's like, "No, I can't do this." And he's like, "We'll find him. We will." And she leaves. Corky's got a new truck. They're happy, they're together, they drive off, and that's the end of the fucking movie. And I'm like, lesbians win. That's gonna be the name of this episode. And I'm assuming they get rid of Caesar's body, make it look like he ran away, and maybe they show up or they have Mickey show up and he sees the three bodies of the men that Caesar killed. So that backs up, Violet's story of like Caesar killed these men and then ran off with the money because there's no body of Caesar. It's like, oh, how do we can't confirm or deny it. The money's gone. Caesar's gone. Oh, well, he must have ran off after killing these men. And of course, Mickey was like, "We're not going to involve the police because whatever, the police, we can do this because we're, the family or whatever." And yeah, I'm like, "Oh, they ended up together. They got money now. They're riding off. They're happy. They're adorable. It's cute." Um, I'm like, "What else? What else?" I'm trying to think what else, what else. But yeah, I guess like I was saying, my RSS feed is still down, so I will continue to post live versions of this as well as the just audio only on like the YouTube. And then I will when the RSS is back up, I will this will be behind a paywall on Patreon, the live version at least. Because you can go on the Patreon right now. That's patreon.com/film noirs. Film noirs. I mean, that's where the noir comes from. I mean, that's where the noir comes from. /V Noirs Film Club, and that's VNOIRES Film Club. To see just the free videos that I have up. I have like it's gonna be 3 videos now. Plus an update video, so there's like 4 videos, I believe. I'm about to look right now. Oh, because I haven't mentioned it. but I did talk about my experience at Jackson Wang's concert finally. And I did that as like a live video. So if you wanted to physically see me talk about my experience at Jackson Wang's concert, that's the mini-sode that I did. And you can see one of my cats, Archie. I'm also wearing his Buck shirt. Um, and then I forgot to mention, but I put it in the written version, the blog that kind of came with it. With that post, that the Oakland concert is the first concert that Jackson Wang's done without the makeup, without the Magic Man makeup, and it's also the concert where he officially announced his new album, Sex God, and tour going to, happen as well. So that made the experience a lot more special. Because I'm like, from that point on, he hasn't worn his Magic Man makeup. So it's like, okay, he's really in his like Jay Wang sex god era. He's said plenty of times that he's like healed from um what he went through, and he's like trying to reach his audience and encourage his audience to find their happiness, find their magic, and the world is so crazy. It's the least you can do. The world's on fire. Like, I know I say that kind of a lot, but every time I do say that, I think of that "Hey Now You're a Rock Star" song. Because he's like, "My world's on fire. How about yours?" something, something like that. What did he say? Mine. Okay, I'm gonna just look up "Hey Now You're a Rock Star." Oh my God, it's called "Hey Now You're a All Star." um, like, what are these lyrics? My world's on fire. How about yours? That's the way I like it. And I'll never get bored. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on. Go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on. Get paid. All that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold. Great song. But yeah, I'm like, yeah, whenever I do say, my world on or the world is on fire, I do think of this song. It's so catchy. What the hell is Smash Mouth doing? I feel like I hope he's got rid of that like ugly ass facial hair. But also I feel like it's very of the times to have this facial hair, so who knows? Hey now. Now I kinda wanna just sing. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get your show on, get paid. All that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold. Now I gotta listen to this. I'm like, I don't remember what the "Go for the Moon" part sounds like. Oh, Shrek. Um, are they on tour? Damn, they've had a lot of drummers. I guess that happens. They've been a band since '94. Yeah, they're gonna change up their band members unless, the one of the like the singer passes away or something, which he seems like he hasn't. Um I really didn't think I would go into talking about Smash Mouth. I don't even really listen to them like that. And oh, they started in San Jose, California. That's cool. Um, members. Only shooting stars break the mold. I'm like, thankfully I got the mic figured out because I'm like, okay, you can hear me. Good. I don't know. Now I'm like, I want to sing something else. Now I just want to sing. I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. again. What a glorious feeling. I'm happy again. I actually don't know the rest of the lyrics either for that. Ew, ew, ew. I clicked on AI mode on accident. Um, singing, just singing in the rain. I'm laughing at clowns soon. I'm like, okay, what's the melody? I'm like, wait a minute, how is this song? Yeah, so that's kind of gonna be it, I guess. There was like that fucking White House thing that was like, we're gonna put pro-trans people in like a list or whatever, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess I'm an anarchist for wanting to live my life and for the people in my life to have a life that is unharmed, I guess. Like, okay, pro trans. I'm like, okay, so y'all care more about. Ooh, okay, my laptop's gonna die. And I don't have my charger. It's at 8%. I think it's okay. Yeah, I'm like, okay. So it's anti-American to want to exist. That's cool. All right. God, I'm like, why is this country? It sucks because it feels like this country is going out of its way to impoverish people. And not only that, but to force people to not be able to leave either. Because the fact that they made this new law or whatever that revokes people's ability to travel if they owe a certain amount in child support. It's like I saw people being supportive of that, but it's like y'all do realize that they could easily just have the word debt be the thing to stop people from being able to travel outside of this country. I'm like, they start here. They've done this with like everything. Literally, like the trans issues being the catalyst of all this other stuff because it's like at the end of the day, trying to control what an adult wants to do with their body has to do with bodily autonomy, which not only has to do with trans lives, it also has to do with like birthing people's lives. And that's not just women and trans men, that's also girls who, start puberty really early and through rape or sexual assault or anything like that. Um, are now having to bring a baby to terms because abortion doesn't exist in the state that they're in. So it's like this it all encompasses like everything. It's all intersectional. It's not just a one issue thing. Everything is connected. And it sucks that, you know, it like as much as I want to be able to summarize things very easily, and I'm not like a political like pundit. Like I'm not like I haven't studied politics, but I'm like I am someone who is autistic. I notice patterns, it's like these are things that if you were just paying attention, you could tell that it's like, oh, this is all interconnected, and people who are informed and historians of things like World War II and stuff know that the things happening, especially when it comes to pandemics and especially when it comes to trans and queer lives, that it is all interconnected and it is all usually leads up to fascism. So, and I'm like, I would trust the people that know more about the thing than I do, and it's also like, okay, if this is a pattern, it's like, oh, we know. And people in 2020, when this was happening, were saying these things. And it's like, it's continuing to happen. It's not, I'm like, we're 6 years out, and the things that people were saying were going to happen are happening. So it's frustrating, And then with the added thing of like AI and it dealing with like fucking up people's ability to think for themselves. It's like, okay, this is just adding to everything, you know? But I'm like, I didn't want to end it on like a serious note or whatever, but it is what it is. It's like this is the world we're living in. And as much as I want to, continue to live in America, I'm like, maybe I will move outside of it. I don't know. It would really suck because it's like I have so many friends here, family here, I don't want to leave them. And for me, it feels like leaving is like giving up. And it's like, I do believe in a better world and a better future. Um, and it's just, and I have to come to terms with the fact that, like, maybe it won't happen in my lifetime. Maybe it'll be something for people in the future, because the fight is ongoing. It doesn't stop. I mean, we see people who were fighting for rights in the 60s still fighting for those rights. People who fought for Roe v. Wade and abortion rights, who had to live through it being put into place and then taken away. It's like that exists. You have to, it sucks, but you have to like continuously fight for rights and your ability to exist. And it sucks that we have people in power who don't care about people, even though that's supposed to be their job, which makes Mondani such a threat to what they're doing because it's like, oh, so you can be a politician and do good by your constituents. That's crazy. But I'm hoping that he's going to be safe, and I'm going to end it there. Is what I did say, but then my laptop died, and but it's back. We there's just not going to be a recording really of this, but um, where am I? So yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at v_noir_. Um, the podcast archive is www.nwwitapod.com. And again, I have Patreon exclusive episodes up right now that are free. So you can just literally go to the Patreon and watch these if you want to. And I will upload I guess. Oh, okay. To keep this video free until my RSS feed is up, I'm gonna upload this video on the day of when I'm supposed to post the podcast episode. So and this part again isn't gonna be a part of the video because my laptop died. But yeah. So I'm gonna keep this free because I was gonna change it to the paid option because when my RSS feed is back, I'm gonna upload the live recording of the podcast the day before. And I'm like, that's kind of cheating if I try to do that now. But to keep this free until the RSS feed is back, I will upload it when I'm uploading the podcast episode. Yeah. So yeah, you can join my Patreon at patreon.com/VNoirs Film Club. That's VNOIRES Film Club. And that'll be it. Until next time. Bye.